Monica from Life is Art, and this is the Friday 5 p.m. demo at the Canada's Big Landmarks online crop. Sorry about that. You got surround sound happening. Just gonna shuffle my mats a little bit so we can get the maximum amount of space in. Now I have a tickle in my throat. We are going to be working today on a scrapbooking layout for the fall. And for those of you who are scrapbookers, I know you were super excited to hear that Stampin' Up! Has started releasing their new reimagined scrapbooking line. I know Stampin' Up! In the past has had scrapbooking stuff because I used to purchase it way back when I first started scrapbooking. And so they have relaunched and are currently, there are 4 scrapbooking workshop kits available, and this is one of them, the Autumn to Remember. Now, if you have previously, before we switched over to Stampin' Up!, had been scrapbooking with Close to My Heart, you will recognize the look of these workshop kits. And so it will be very familiar to you, and you will feel very comfortable with the kits. So let's take a look at what comes in the kit. There are 4 currently available. This is one. There's also a Halloween one and a couple of Christmas ones. And you're going to get full color instructions that show you the layouts. It tells you any extra materials you might need, what size photos you need. It will also give you the cutting guides, and these cutting guides look exactly like we've seen previously. It gives you information about where you do your first cut, whether you're using the front or back, which position to have your paper in, vertical or horizontal, and lots of good color on there so you can visually see which paper it is that you're cutting, and it gives you the number letter for each project. So project 1, piece A, and then you can sort out all of your pieces. Now I have gone ahead and I have cut my pieces already, so you're not going to see those full sheets of paper that are in there. But there were 2 pages of trees and woodland animals, 2 pages of grid and little triangle trees, 2 pages of little sort of arrow leafy things, and green pattern. Then there was also 2 sheets of an exclusive pattern, which is a wood grain. And the reason they're saying exclusive is because the paper pack from this collection, the paper pack and sticker sheet, are available separately from this. So if you like the paper and the stickers, but you don't necessarily want the workshop, you can do that as well. And the embellishments are sold separately too. Then there's also a couple sheets of exclusive paper, a stripe and a geometric design. Then there are some cardstocks. So there's a couple sheets of white willow, which wasn't formerly known as White Daisy. So that lovely cardstock that we know and love, White Daisy, has been renamed White Willow in 12 by 12. And then you get the full color instructions for assembly, along with measurements and the labels of which pieces are which, and for all 3 projects. Okay, so very familiar to what we're used to. We're going to be working on project number 1. I have to get back to the right page. Project number 1. Also in the kit, you're going to have some wood grain embellishments, and this one has lovely wood grain bits and pieces. There's some words, there's leaves, there's arrows, there's hearts, there's signposts, all sorts of fun things, laser cut. And so it's paperboard, there's tree stumps, so lots of good things on there. I'm going to set that aside because we're going to be using that with our project. Then you also get some place photo here cards. So if you're making these as a gift for somebody, or you're making the album now and you're going to fill in some photos later, then you can put those place photo here cards in instead of photos. Then you're also going to get some die cuts and some stickers. You're also in this, let me just pull everything out. Sometimes that's the easiest, just to pull everything out. So the die cuts are here, and of course they come out really easily. You can see them trying to fall out there. So as we're going through here, I'm going to just flip it over, because on the back side it tells you which projects they go to. So this is project 1. So I'm going to push the piece that I want away from me, because I'm taking it off on the back side, and that way I'm pushing the thing I want to keep away. So if there's any tear out ever, it will be on the back side. If I push the piece this way with the right side facing me, if it tore out, it would tear on the front. I have yet to have a die cut tear out on me, but just for insurance. Okay, so we've got project 1. I'm just going to set that there. Check for other project 1s. There's another one. I'm going to push it away. I don't even know what it is. It's a mystery. There we go. Oh, it's a little leaf. And another project 1. Push it away. I like that they're labeled on the back, so you don't have to by guess and by golly anything. It tells you exactly which projects you want it for. And then we need this circle that's trying to fall out. Let's pop it out. This nice big swirly circle. As you know, oh, there was a little tear, but it's coming on the back side, so that's okay. As you know, I don't use an electronic cutting machine. And so having something like this, a large swirly circle, I would have to cut that by hand. Let me just do it this way. I would have to cut that by hand, which is doable, and I have done it. But having it as a punch out is super nice. There we go. And then there are some bits that are going to come out of this, like this one that's trying to fall out, and this one, and there's a couple here, like that. We'll just throw them off to the side, and you know what? We could keep those and use them for something else. Create our own little circly goodness. There's another one that's coming out. And this is going to leave the spaces. That's going to make it look like it's sort of a drawn circle swirl, like you're swirling around. And one more. There we go. Okay, so there we've got that. There weren't any more on this. Oh, nope, I was incorrect. There's one more right there. Pop that over there. We're all done with that. We can put that aside. All the little bits. There we go. Okay, the second sheet of die cuts. Let's see. Oh, we've got some of these chevrons here. Let's pop those out. So one thing about these kits, like you've seen me talk about the Piper Pumpkin kits, and those are, everything's done. All the bits and pieces are in there. There's no cutting, no scissors required, no paper trimmer. The adhesive is all in there. So it's sort of like a level 1 kind of project, right? But they are so beautiful. Then there are kits like this where you have to cut things. You have to do a little bit more assembly. And that's kind of like a level 2 type of project in my mind. And then there's where you just take the sticker sheet and the paper pack and you create your own. And I think that's kind of level 3. So we've got our sticker sheet, which we're going to use. And then, of course, we have some cardstock that are the bases for our layouts. And look right here. Look at this. You remember we had two-tone cardstock before. Look at that. We have two-tone cardstock. One side's dark, one side's light. So you'll want to pay attention in the directions to make sure that you are flipping over to the side that you want. And let's put these extra little bits back in the package out of the way so that we don't get anything confused. All right, now for project number 1, we're going to start out with 2 sheets of Old Olive according to the instructions. Lovely. Aren't there some gorgeous colors in this collection? Like, take a look at that. I love that there are so many words on here that can be used. That's kind of been something that I felt that we needed because we were used to it, and I love that we have it. Hooray, hooray. So let's grab our Old Olive, and the instructions tell us that we are going to use the light side of the Old Olive. So here's the dark side, here's the light side, so let's flip them both over. And you know what, I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive on the back so that these sit on my mat and don't shift around while we're creating. That way we can line things up. Let me just scooch these embellishments off here. Yeah, I'll scooch them off to the top, out of the way. And I'll just set my instructions there for now. Let's stick our adhesive on and flip that over. I like, oh, I did that backwards. Let me grab my eraser. The great thing about our eraser is it takes that adhesive off. Now that adhesive would have been covered up anyway by a part that's coming later, but let's get it on the right side. Oops. There we go. Okay. Who's excited for scrapbooking workshop kits? Hey Mom, nice to see you're watching. If you're joining me live, just say hello or howdy so I know you're here. And if you're watching later on replay, you can say replay. We're going to start with the left page. And one of the instructions is an optional instruction, and it's to add details to a few of the wood grain die cuts with Stampin' Right markers. Now, the Stampin' Right markers that they suggest are Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, and Old Olive, because those are going to coordinate really well. Now, I do not have those markers. I'm going to leave my die cuts just the way they are because I think they're gorgeous, but that is an optional technique right there. Okay, so we're going to attach 1A to our base, and 1A is one of these lovely pieces. I don't think it matters which. These are exclusive papers, so the backside is blank, as opposed to the pattern papers, which have pattern on both sides. And our wood grain is going to go horizontal on here. These have been cut to 11.5 inches by 11.5. I'm going to add my adhesive on there and get it stuck down. And this is going to be centered. There we go. Sorry, not quite centered. It's going to, yeah, it is centered. It's going to be 1/4 of an inch down from the top, which is going to center it. Just try and line it up pretty straight. So there we go. And then we are going to attach, we're going to dovetail and attach 1B, 1C, and 1D. So let me grab the pieces that I have cut. And when I cut these out, I actually wrote on the back side. So I have 1B, 1C, and 1D. And I'm going to be using the opposite sides because I wrote on the back sides. So we have this cute little one with all the woodland creatures. Isn't that so sweet? Look at that chubby bear, the little fox, the owl, the hedgehog. There's a bird, there's deer. Is there a squirrel? There's little acorns and leaves and little trees. So cute. Then this one is a Cajun Craze that has sort of a little, almost like an evergreen needle piece. And then there is this geometric pattern in the old olive. How pretty is that? Okay, so we want to dovetail the ends of these. We're going to start with our first one. We're going to take our paper snips. And when I dovetail, I like to go in the center, and the most I dovetail is 1/2 inch. And so I'm going to do 1/2 inch here. Just make a snip right in the center. You could measure if you want, but I'm not going to bother. And then you're going to come from the outside point to the top of that snip, and then come from the opposite corner to the top of that snip, just in a straight line, and that creates a nice dovetail. Now, in order to make all of these look similar, these are the same size, I'm just going to line them up like so. I'm going to mark my center, and then I can just come in from the side to the top of that snip. And again, from this side to the top of that snip. And then our last one is, going back to the original. Always go back to your original. This one is a little wider. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up the top, but we're going to center our strip in the middle, like that, just so we can get an eyeball of where the center is. And we're just going to do 1/2 inch snip like we did with the other ones. And then we're going to come from the corner to the top of that snip. And from this side to the top of the snip. Now, if you have trouble cutting in a straight line, you could measure up, and then you could use a ruler and draw the lines and then just cut over the line, like above, so you don't have to erase it later. That will work as well. Okay, so we want to do 1B first. Let's add some adhesive. And this one is going to be attached 1/4 inch from the top, like at the top of the wood grain, and 4 inches in from the left, which I think we'll put it in the center. So yeah, it's in the center. So 4 inches in, oops, sticking it down before I'm ready. So right between the 4 and the 8, just lay that down there like that. Then we're going to come in with 1C. The back side are these cute little trees. Isn't that lovely? And we're going to stick this on the left, and we're going to come in 3/4 of an inch. Like that. And then our last piece, 1D. And to be honest, cutting all the paper for these 3 projects took me maybe 5 minutes. As long as you pay attention to what you're doing, it doesn't take long. So 3/4 of an inch in from the edge. There we go. Okay, so those are our 3 pieces. And then we're going to attach 1E, which is our photo mat. And there are these cute little triangles that give you the impression of little evergreen trees in my mind. But it's also just a nice geometric pattern. There we go. Add some adhesive. And this is going to be 2.5 inches from the top and 2.25 inches in from the right. So 2.5 inches down, and then 2.25 inches in. So 2.25 inches in, right about there. It takes me a couple seconds to double check with these new bifocals. They're not that new anymore, but I'm still getting used to them. So that was 1E. Then we're going to attach our photo with our adhesive. And oh my goodness, I love this photo. Look at that. That is young Miss Julia. in Campbellford on the front lawn at grandmother and grandfather's house. And I love that she's just surrounded by all those beautiful leaves. And of course, with her red hair, which has darkened considerably since then, she just goes well with fall, right? It's her color season. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to center this. This is a 6x4 photo. And we're centering? Yes, looks like we're centering right in the middle there. Oh my goodness. Doesn't that just work perfectly with the greens and the Cajun craze and the beautiful browns? Love it. And then we're going to embellish with die cuts and prepared wood grain die cuts and stickers. And it says tip, attach smaller embellishments with mini glue dots. And then you're going to add your journaling as well. So let's start with our big swirly number here. And let me see. I think I'm going to use glue for this. Liquid glue. I think that would work the best. So let's see if we can get some glue going without getting it everywhere. Just little dots here and there. Nice. As long as you get it mostly stuck down, it's going to be inside an album, inside a page protector, and it's not like it's going to fall out. So you just need to get some glue on there. All right, now let's see. It looks like, oh, I put the glue on the wrong side. Well, that's okay. We'll just hide the little number ones. See, I should have taken an extra second to look at what I was doing. But let's go ahead and stick this down. We've got lots of little embellishments that are going on there. So those little ones are going to be hidden. They're just right there. Those two little ones. And in fact, when I flipped it over, I was looking for the ones. Flipped it over to the wrong side. Have you ever done that? I've done that. And of course, with liquid glue, we're just going to leave it. It's not going to be a thing. All right. Then this is going to be for the other side. I'm just looking through all the die cuts that we pulled out of the pack. This will be for the other page. This little one right here, it's going to go on the edge. And I'm just following the picture. That's all you got to do. Right about there. And you know what? It's embellishments. If they end up and you think, oh my gosh, I put it in the wrong spot, nobody's ever going to go and check and look at the instructions, right? It's just whatever you feel works for you, that will be just fine. So we're going to grab some of these chevrons, add some adhesive to them. This might actually be quicker with liquid glue for the chevrons. And we're going to put a yellow one right here, kind of on the corner of our photo. Like that. And then we want one of these orangey ones. Let's use some liquid glue. Why not? There we go. Stick that on there like that. So it looks like you're drawing, telling you which direction to go. And actually, one of the title that's on the other side says, "Leaves abound from all around." And I think that really works well with this photo in particular. Okay, let's grab a green one. There we go. And this one's going to be on the edge of our photo, like that. Then an orange one. Stick that on there. And then a yellow one. What do we think? How are we liking this? I love that even these chevrons have patterns. We've got dots and sort of swipes, and then sort of a like sponging on the yellow one. Super cute. Okay. Now, wood grains. We've got some wood grains going on. Let's grab that. There is one of these leaves. That's going to go over here. We've got a little maple leaf. And that's going to go over here. And what they've done with these leaves is they've just added a little bit of drawing around the edge. And I think that probably maybe makes them stand out a little bit more from the pattern in the background. But as I said, I don't have the colors that are recommended. I only have black, and I don't think I want that on here. So I can leave them for now, and if I decide in the future, and if I have the Stampin' Right markers, as I, purchase more things, then I can always add it. Look at that. That one's going to cover up that number 1. This one's going to cover that number 1. We're all set. And then we need one more oak leaf. There it is. It's like a search and find. You know those books that you can get that have sort of search and find things? That kind of is what this reminds me of. All right. We've also got this little bit of journaling that I thought was for the other page, but I can see now that it goes here. Right up above here. It's got a little dashed line to write on. Stick that down. Then maybe we'll use the glue dots for our leaves. Got some mini glue dots here. Those are nice and quick. There's one. Just use a couple glue dots. We're going to cover up that number. I love these paperboard wood grains because I love the look of wood grain, but sometimes if you get actual wood, they get very chunky and thick, and it can kind of sometimes push into your memory protector or your page protector, and it can even just make your album too bulky. So these are just a little bit thicker than cardstock. It's paperboard, and so they don't take up as much room. Now, we've also got some stickers. So let's grab our sticker sheet right there. And we are looking for a Golden Leaves Autumn Breeze and our little snail. Those are going to go centered here. One kind of half on, half off. And I love this little snail. Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is about snails, but I like them a lot. Anything else? I don't see anything else. Okay, let's switch over to the right-hand side. Just going to pop those embellishments out of the way and grab my papers. We're going to again start with our background paper. It's going to go right on top of our old olive. Let's add one more. It's a big sheet of paper. One of the things that is good about kits is I find they're very handy if you're going to a crop and you need something to take with you to work on. They're also very handy if you just need a kickstart. You need to get your creative juices flowing. And you know what? You don't have to do them exactly as they are. You can mix and match the items. You can choose which side of the patterns you want to use. You can move the bits and pieces around, or you can follow it exactly as it is. Some people swing one way and some people swing the other. Now we're going to come in with 1H, 1I, and 1J, and we're going to dovetail those. Pardon me, I have hiccups. Okay, so let's snip in the center about a 1/2 inch, just like we did before. come in from the edge. Sometimes when people get something that's this large, they think, oh my gosh, we need a great big dovetail, you know, come in an inch or something. And let me tell you, it looks much better with the smaller dovetail. It's weird that way, because most people think the bigger it is, then the deeper it needs to be. But it doesn't matter what width you're working with. 1/4 to 1/2 inch is kind of my maximum. And then the last one, there we go. I find if the dovetail gets too deep, it just starts to look awkward. And you don't want that. You don't want somebody to look at your page and go, awkward. Chances are nobody will. But you might look at the page and go, ooh, awkward. All right. So our green is going to go in the center just like the other side. Let's stick that down. And that's going to be centered in between the 4 and the 8, lined up at the top, like so. Then we're going to come in with the Cajun Craze one. I know a lot of people put a lot more adhesive sometimes than what I do, but I like this because now if I decide I want to tuck something, there's lots of room for doing that. Now, just to remind myself, we're coming in 3/4 of an inch. So 1, 2, 3, and lining up at the top, like so. Oops, shifty, shifty. There we go. And then we'll add some adhesive to this one. So here's one where if you decided I don't want the cutesy little animals, I want just the lovely trees because it's a more mature layout, then you can totally do that. I like the cutesy little animals because it's Julia and she's cutesy, and why not? So we're coming in 3/4 of an inch. We're sticking it down just like that. Now, I have a feeling that actually got cut a bit wide. Oh well. It's down there now. But I think it did because there's a little bit more overlap. I think there's about 1/2 inch I should have chopped off. But it's not going to bother me. All right. Now we need to come in and add our photo mat. There we go. And again, you could decide whether you wanted the grid or the triangles. I'm going for the triangles because that's what we did on the other side. This is going to be 1 inch in and 2.5 inches down. 1, 2.5, and then 1 inch in, like so. Hopefully that's straight. Yep, looks straight. And then we are going to attach our photos. So I've got another couple photos. These are 3x4s. And I have one of Julia and Grandmother. They were heading out for a walk down the street. Look at that gorgeous fall tree in behind. And then there's one of Julia sitting on the front steps. And you know the trees that have those big, furry, sticky nuts that come off and then the squirrels grab them and peel all the, I can't remember whether they're chestnut, no, they're not chestnuts. Beech nuts maybe? Great big furry and they're sticky. She had one in each hand. It looks like she's holding pears in her hand because her hands are small. But that's what that is. It's those big nuts. And so let's go ahead and attach these photos. Now here on this page, we have 2 photos and then we have a journaling spot. You could always add a 3rd photo here. You could use some flip flaps to add extra photos. I know some people don't like to do a whole double page layout with only 3 photos. It kind of makes them, because, you know, it just seems like not enough photos happened. But I'm okay with it. Totally okay with it. And no, there's probably a measurement somewhere, but I'm just kind of eyeballing, and that works for me. And then we're going to add our journaling on here as well. Now, helpful tip, when you've got something nice like this that's pre-printed and ready for journaling, I would suggest doing your journaling on a scrap piece of paper and then decide, yes, is that how I like it? Is that what I want? And then writing it out. Good. Don't just start on here and then, oops, that's not what I wanted to say, or, that doesn't sound right. Do it off on the side first and then add it on. Okay, so we're going to embellish with the die cuts, prepared wood grain die cuts, and the stickers, and attach the smaller embellishments with mini glue dots, add the journaling. So this little guy here is going to be stuck on here a little bit lower than the photos and kind of in the center of the space that's there. So like that. Then, of course, I'm looking down here, and this is actually the brighter picture to look at. We also have this last little die cut with the 2 leaves and some adhesive there. And it's going to go over here, but we need to add some things first. From our sticker sheet, we have our nice big title, Leaves Abound from All Around. And that's right here. Now I'm going to end up with a handful of stickers. This is why God gave us lots of fingers, because it holds a lot of stickers. Then we're going to have this little tree cluster. And then we're going to have 2 dovetailed pieces, the little mushrooms and these little trees. So yes, look at that. We filled up all of our fingers. Okay. The mushrooms go on top, but the other 2 go underneath. So what I'm going to do, oh, and these have little, look at that, little circles that pop out from the ends. This one is going to be stuck close there, a little bit down, but look at that. I'm just going to kind of rest the top, and then I'm going to stick my other little stickers on before I stick it down. So we're going to come in a little bit and stick that one right there. Then we're going to add this one next to it, like so. And oh, got it crooked. Let's straighten it out if we can. One good thing, these stickers are like what we're used to, and these stickers are like cardstock weight stickers. So if you need to reposition, then you can totally do that. They will come up and be repositionable, not forever, but temporarily. And then we're going to overlap that one like that. And then our little Project 1 leaves are going to overlap like that. Nice little cluster of embellishments there. And what else? We have the word autumn. Now, we're going to want to try to make this word make sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the T and the U are going to meet in the center. So, is it in the center? Pretty much. So we're going to go a little bit left of the 6 and a little bit right of the 6. And then we'll finish our word going this way. I love how these have sort of a sponge background, but they're not all the same. We'll try and keep our spacing going somewhat the same. If we can. We'll try. So there's autumn, and then we have a wood grain arrow this one. And again, let's grab our glue dots for that. So this is the fun part where we just do all the embellishing. And chances are, I haven't checked, but chances are we're going to have extra embellishments that aren't going to be used. There is some leftover DSP. We're going to put our arrow there, like that, sort of level. So you can probably make at least another layout with some leftover bits and pieces, maybe some cards. All right, so we've got that, we've got that, we've got that. Oh, we need a sticker. Good times here. We're going to center that on the top of our journaling. And then we've got some wood grains at the bottom. We have a pointy tree. There's our pointy tree. We've got a blobby tree. And then we've got a leafy looking tree. And are there any other wood grains? Nope, I think that's it. Let's grab our glue dots. And let's go for the pointy tree first. Maybe we'll put 3 glue dots on this one. It's a bigger one. Oh, I forgot. We have a border. Was there a border on the other side that I missed? There might have been. We're going to grab this border. Whoop. And we're going to attach it down here at the bottom. Oh, it's a little bit long. So we need to trim it off to 11 and a half. Like that. You can actually trim it while it's still on the backing paper if you want. And that should fit now. Nice. Then let's grab our little tree. It's gonna sit down on that. Now, remind me, I gotta check the other side to make sure I didn't miss that, because I probably need to add that on the other side as well. We're gonna overlap this little tree here. Make a nice little tree cluster. I like how it overlaps the dovetailed piece as well as the bottom. This little yellow spot kind of gives it some grounding. There we go. Is that all for that side? I believe so. Okay, let's check. Let's check over here. Yes, see, look. I was supposed to add that. So here what I was talking about is you can actually cut this to 11 and a half. You can even do it on the paper trimmer if you want. But you can do it before you take it off the backing sheet. There we go. And that makes it easier because there's no sticky business. No sticky business going on. Did you notice in the catalog that when you look for adhesives, you look for the page that's marked as sticky business? I think that's cute. Alrighty. There are our 2 pages completed, except for journaling, from the Autumn to Remember Scrapbooking Workshop Kit. We started out with that light side of the 2-tone Old Olive, adding on our wood grain, our sticker border, our big dovetailed DSP, then our big swirl, lots of embellishments, and isn't that just super fun? Loving those wood grains. And then, and I like that there is a gray wood grain in the background, and then the brown wood grain on top, those lovely sticker letters going on there for our title, and more stickers clustered down here, a nice big spot for journaling, and some more of those wood grain embellishments. I like that the sizes are a little bit different from one page to the other in terms of the embellishments. That's super fun. And I kind of like that the trees are sort of leaf shaped. That's super cute. All right, I hope you enjoyed seeing that page come together. I hope you feel inspired to take a look at those scrapbook workshop kits. Again, there are 4 of them available. And yeah, get some scrapbooking done. Each kit makes 3 double page layouts with some leftover bits to create more projects. All right, have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. We will be back on at 7 o'clock for Chat and Craft. We'll see you then. All right, toodaloo. Bye.